boot camp recruit that hears that knows what I'm talking about. They punish you to that song. That is the song they play when they're kicking your butt, when they're screaming at you, when you're doing 1,000 push-ups.
How many push-ups have you done to that song?
I was tempted. Like, seriously, I can't hear that song without thinking about getting screamed at in boot camp or without getting, like, pummeled in boot camp.
Doing some push-ups.
Do whatever.
Maybe that might be a good incentive for you. Maybe, like, get the core in shape, get your six-pack back.
Right.
Like, just to have Marissa play it every morning, get up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, Kevin, during boot camp, I heard that song 500 times.
No kidding.
Multiple times.
Patriotic song.
No. That song is a punishment song.
I'm trying to
get you over this.
There is trying to counsel you through this.
That is not happening because that is a punishment song. That is the song I got my butt kicked to a number of times. You know, just like you're like crying to yourself, like I'm proud to be here while you're doing push-ups and like no.
Think about what good shape you were in though.
I was in good shape. No doubt. I was always in trouble in boot camp.
Not anymore. I was going to say it's surprising.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do news you can use. We're ready to roll? Okay. Here we go. Let's see if I can actually do this. No. All right.
Let's just do news you can use.
I think we got it. No, we don't have it.
Oh, don't worry about it. News you could use for November 2016.
That's right. News. Yep. There it is. Everyone's got. Oh, and we have the background of the Stones.
All right.
All right. News you can use. Everyone's got the day off today, apparently. Right. News you can use for today, November 11th, 2016. Marissa McDermott wins, breaks glass ceiling. In an overwhelming show of support, Marissa McDermott won the race for Lake County Circuit Court judge on Tuesday, beating her opponent by 60,000 votes with over 65% of the total vote. This will make her the first female Lake County Circuit Court judge in county history. I'm very thankful to the voters of Lake County for supporting my candidacy. I look forward to serving them as their judge, she said. Ms. McDermott had soundly defeated the sitting circuit court judge in a contentious primary battle last May. McDermott was a bright spot for Democrats in what statewide was a dismal day in which all statewide offices went to the GOP, despite hope that Democrats would win the governor's seat and hold on to the superintendent of public instruction. That's it. Another bright spot.
It was hard not to celebrate that night. It was hard
to celebrate.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, we didn't want to. I mean, literally, it was a bloodbath.
Yeah,
I mean, we were happy. We were at 18th Street. We had our own little bubble.
Great party there.
Everybody was having fun, and then we started realizing the extent of what was going on.
And we had CNN on the TV.
It reminded me of my victory party in 2007.
That's what I was.
It was like a victory party, but we were all crying.
It was just like 07.
Yeah, it was.
Well, a little bit better.
That's the thing about politics that's amazing is like some victories are just ridiculously fun, like the primary of this year when Marissa won. And then some of them are like you won, but you're not happy, and just like it was a weird day.
And another bright spot was Mara.
Yeah, it was nice. Mara is the only pickup statewide.
Is that right?
Democratic Party, yep.
Wow.
The only. We picked up one seat. In fact, in the Senate, the Democrats lost a seat.
Are we in single digits yet?
Yeah, 41-9.
Is it really? I was joking.
No, 41-9. Wow. So good luck, Senator Melton and everybody
Senator
else.
Mervan.
Senator Mervan, like whoa,
41-9. 9. It's like what's right before like endangered species and like threatened threatened species.
This is ridiculous, man.
Great redistricting in 2010.
Oh, it was very effective. The Republicans did a great job when they gerrymandered these lines.
Next story, Mayor, is a pretty serious one in the county, and I'm sure one that you want to talk about a little bit.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, but we probably will.
Lake County Sheriff offices raided by the FBI and state police. In what appears to be a targeted federal investigation on Lake County Sheriff and Democratic Chairman John Bunsich, federal and state agents descended on the Lake County Sheriff's Office in Crown Point and at Bunsich's residence. The Northwest Indiana Times has also reported late last night that a Porter County business was also served with search warrants where a Lake County Sheriff's towing contractor rents a storage yard. Employees of the Sheriff's Office were instructed by the agents to leave their areas while the search warrants were served. It is unclear at this point the thrust of the investigation or the target. However, speculation swirled around the county yesterday as to what appeared to be the focus, Sheriff Bunsich and towing contracts. A spokesman for the department indicated that the public safety operation of the department was operating normally, but that the sheriff was not making a comment on the investigation at this time. So a lot of stuff to talk about there, Mayor. Obviously, you and Sheriff Bunsich haven't exactly gotten along over the last year.
What's horrible is we've been actually starting to get along. Literally.
I noticed that.
I ran into him the other day. We were super nice to each other. We were talking to each other. We sat next to each other at an event. We were talking. And getting along, and then all of a sudden,
this hits. Yeah, I mean, this is a It's just concerning, I think, for a number of reasons, right?
Well, like, okay, because you mentioned in the news you can use that it appears that it's aimed at sheriff. At first, we were hoping maybe it was something else.
Yeah, another entity or something.
And then I read that they're at the sheriff's house also, and you're like, oh, man, that's not good. I just, Sheriff Buncich and I argue about politics, and we've gone toe-to-toe about politics. I just want to put it out there. I feel really bad about this whole situation. I hope this is a huge misunderstanding, and I hope he's cleared. I mean, I really honestly do. Nobody wants to see anybody get in trouble with the feds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's wrongdoing, however, the feds have a job to do, and they have to do what they have to do what they have to do.
My second year of law school, Kevin, you know this. I clerked with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I got a chance to see, the FBI. I got a chance to see the U.S. Attorney and how they approach business. They never lost a case. And quite frankly, they don't lose very much anyway. But that whole summer, it was awesome. I got to watch trial after trial. I got to see the FBI and how they go about their business. And I just remember thinking, these guys don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing you realize, and I've done some federal criminal defense work, in the past, is number one, they've got a lot of really good attorneys down there. I know most of them and have worked with them in the past. And number two is that you realize the resources that the federal government has at their disposal.
It's the federal government.
They have many resources at their disposal, and they're able to be very thorough in their investigation. And so I guess we'll just see what happens. Obviously, Mayor, if in fact this does go downhill for the sheriff, if that happens, what's your opinion on him being the chairman and how?
I don't even know if I should get into that. I think we should just sort of seriously, because I don't want to stomp on anybody's grave. And
just going to wait and see what happens.
I mean, it's not good that the Lake County chairman's under investigation by the feds. Let's be honest. It's not good. It's quite frankly, the last damn thing this party needs. Okay? We just got our butts kicked on Tuesday. We lost the presidency. We lost the governor's office. We lost all statewide. We lost ground in the General Assembly. We've been doing a good job. When I was chairman, I tried the best I could to change people's attitudes about Lake County. And then this is going on. And quite frankly, all due respect to Verley in the last show, I don't think it's good that we advertise ourselves. She basically informed the incoming attorney general about what was going on. It's seriously? Are we we're it's almost like, hey, by the way, did you hear our sheriff is getting investigated? I'm like,
wasn't she criticizing you earlier in the week for not being a party guy?
Yeah, for not supporting Lorenzo.
The whole party. And then she's supporting the whole ticket.
I know. And now Curtis Hill and her are best friends. That's funny. I don't want to criticize other.
I wonder why. Okay, let's
DJs.
See. Veterans Day Parade tomorrow in Hammond. So, Mayor, do you have any other? By the way, do you have any other news for regarding that? I mean, is there anything outside of the paper that you've heard? Or
I think what we'll do is just sort of take people's questions and just, Kev, I don't want to offer stuff on this. I just if I were ever in a situation like this, I wouldn't want people speculating. I wouldn't want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's why I think even in the story, I wanted to try to be as vague as possible.
And you know what? I'm glad you covered it, Kevin, because we need to cover it. Obviously, it's the biggest news story. It's probably the second biggest news story. What a crazy week, first off. What a crazy week. And this is obviously a huge story. And, I really hope that things turn out right. And I hope the sheriff is cleared. I hope this is a huge misunderstanding. And I want to be on the record saying that. I really do. And nobody wants to see anybody get in trouble.
Nobody likes to see bad things happen to people.
And quite frankly, if he was doing something improper, like you said.
That's why the federal government's there to
do their job.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Real quick, just want to remind people tomorrow, Veterans Day Parade is tomorrow, and what is now an annual tradition. The Veterans Day Parade will honor all veterans tomorrow at 10 a.m. Parade route travels from Olcott down 173rd Street, ends at Hessville Park Veterans Memorial at 173rd and Kennedy. Some of the parade participants include members of local American Legions and VFW posts, musical entertainment from high school bands, antique military vehicles, the Lima Lima flight team, and much more. The parade's followed by a concert tomorrow night at the Hammond Civic Center at 6 p.m., which is free for all veterans and $10 for others. As a veteran myself, I think it's very important to honor those who have served. It's something our country and its citizens owe to those that have protected our freedom. I hope to see everyone out at the parade and concert tomorrow, said Mayor Tom. You'll be there?
Yeah. I'll
awesome.
be there.
In full?
No, I'll be dressed normal.
How about your?
That's my right.
How about your Hyman G. Rickover polo?
I haven't. Oh, maybe.
All right.
But it'll be cold, so you won't even see it.
Well,
the thing is, honestly, when I got out of the military, we had a ceremony, and I did the ceremony, and part of that ceremony is destroying every military-related piece of equipment you had. And I have nothing.
What about your medals?
Nothing. I have nothing.
You got to get those back.
I did find my dolphins.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. They were pewter too, so they're really cool looking. But like,
couldn't burn.
Right. So anyway,
right.
Judge Cantrell's waiting online too.
Judge, you're on.
Hi, Judge.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
We're good.
Thanks for calling.
Speaking of veterans.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I wanted to let everyone know what a great job Mayor Tom did at the Veterans Court graduation on Wednesday. He was our keynote speaker, and he really inspired a bunch of people because I had 3 of my vets on Facebook quoting him.
Oh, that's awesome.
What he said at the graduation. So it was awesome.
Thank you. You put me up right behind Jim Chancellor, who is an amazing speaker. I mean, seriously, he goes. And I'm like, what? I have to follow this guy. And he has like this really heartfelt story. And I go up there. I'm like, I better bring it today.
Hey, Judge, tell us a little bit about how Veterans Court's going. I mean, what's your population right now?
We've had 75 people go through the program. We've had 24 graduates and 1 not so successful person.
But
pretty good odds.
I thought it was amazing.
We still have 50 guys and girls. There's 3 women now going through the program, and we have 22 who are in the intake process.
That's great. And that's become a really good program. Now, how many are there around the state? Do you know, Judge?
I think they said there's 22 now.
That's great.
Out of 92 counties, there's 22, and we're actually the busiest.
Yeah. Well, it's an awesome program you do, Judge. I was super honored to be asked to be the keynote speaker, and I'm willing to do so again in the future. So thank you very much for calling.
Oh, you'll be back. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Judge. Thank you. You know, maybe that's something in the future. Maybe that's something you could suggest to Don and the Parks folks next year is maybe have Veterans Court graduates. Maybe they could be in the parade.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, it was basically my speech was, the gist of it was, there was a bunch of Marines, a bunch of Army guys, a bunch of Navy guys, and there was no Air Force people graduating, right? And I was, good-naturedly, I went through, I was like, you're an Army guy? I'm like, seriously, you went through Army boot camp, you got stationed, you had bad food, you got put overseas. I'm like, this is easy compared to what you went through. Marines, Navy, and then I got to Air Force. I'm like, it's no wonder there's nobody from the Air Force here. And everybody started laughing. I'm like, Air Force has all the good food, the good everything, It was funny, though.
That is good. That's good. So you didn't bring up the push-ups and Proud to be American and all that.
No.
They already all knew that.
Yeah, they definitely knew that.
All right, let's take a call on line 1.
Long-time listener on line 1.
This is very exciting.
Good morning, Mayor. I met you at the East Chicago Griffith basketball game.
Oh, yeah, it was a great night.
Great game.
Yeah.
It's got a fantastic history at Civic Center.
Yes, sir.
And I've noticed a lot of great improvements the last 10 years in the area.
Well, you know what?
You're going to see more.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff happening.
But I got 2 questions for you.
Sure.
Because one of the things, because Hammond is involved with this doing, and I'm a veteran, and thank you all you veterans, and thank you too for your service.
Mm-hmm.
But as a veteran, one of the things I take pride in is to make sure that we follow the Constitution and people have the freedom of speech and assembly. However, we have 6 states that are sending their police to the oil protest in North Dakota, and we have turned our country into a paramilitarized police. And we've had one person, a reporter there, was shot by a rifle projectile in the face. We've had a foreign outfit coming with attack dogs or attacking the people, biting them in the face, and it's like Nazi Germany.
So
my question is: Are you having second thoughts about sending in the Hammond and Munster police and all the local Indiana police to go over there and attack people for simply protesting?
All right, thanks for the question, Mayor.
They're already back. Our guys are already back. We had conversations, and I took some flack over this. Quite frankly, I didn't make this decision.
What's the background on that?
This is part of a compact that we're involved in, City of Hammond PD. And I'm not skirting responsibility. At the end of the day, I'm responsible, okay? But I found out about this after the fact. The guys were basically on their way there when I found out about it, okay? And the reason the decision was made is because when you join, they're like treaties. Mm-hmm. We have treaties with other agencies in the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, and if something ever happens in Hammond where we need outside help, because we're part of these compacts, it facilitates other officers and from other agencies coming here. Let's say we had a riot in Hammond, and we put the call out through this compact that we're involved in. Theoretically, officers from all over the Midwest would come here to help us out.
So was one of the reasons, Mayor, that they were called out was because North Dakota is so, it's small population up there. They don't have a lot of officers.
Kevin,
and all of a sudden they've got thousands of protesters.
Yeah, but I want to make it clear that this wasn't a decision made by Hammond PD. This wasn't a decision made in Northwest Indiana. This is a decision made by
the federal government.
Federal government, and then the state of Indiana, Homeland Security, put a call out, and we're part of it. So they asked us for 3 officers, and the decision was made internally in the police department, which, quite frankly, is normal business. They sent 3 officers as part of this compact out to North Dakota.
And you had an obligation to do so under the agreement.
Kevin, and I was saying earlier that I didn't make the decision. I didn't, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but what I want to point out is normally, we have officers right now assigned to GRIT, to DEA. We have officers assigned all over the place. Sometimes they're assigned in the Lake County Sheriff's Department.
And they go outside of the jurisdiction.
Yeah, and I don't sign off on them either. If they don't come up and say, hey, Mayor, could we send 2 guys to the DEA? They have a special, focus that they want to focus on, and I don't say yes or no. This is part of the day-to-day decision making in the Hammond PD. So in this situation, it was sort of a similar type of situation as far as, hey, we need 3 of your officers to report under Homeland Security compact that you're involved in. So we did, and then I was sort of like, hey, Mayor, by the way, we got 3 officers going to North Dakota, and I'm like, and I'll be honest with you, I heard some grumbling from the HPD, seriously, we're sending officers to North Dakota? So I called the chief. I'm like, give me some background here. And he did. And he said, this is part of a compact. If we don't participate, then they don't participate. If we need their help, that's why we do this stuff. And so I was like, okay, and I was nervous because I was taking flack even from Marissa. Marissa's like, are you serious? Mm-hmm. Why are you sending officers out there? And I'm like,
well, it's a touchy issue.
But I'm explaining to her the same thing, hey, we're part of this. It's a treaty, and you can't just if you're part of a treaty and something goes down, that's the whole purpose of it, right? So they're out there literally for 10 days, and I'm taking heat, and I'm calling the chief time
to get him home.
I'm taking heat here. Seriously, you made this decision, and we didn't really talk about it. Now,
and this is the pipeline protesting up there, right? It's protesting.
And they're on private property,
right?
So there's issues, but seriously, I don't think this is our issue. And quite frankly, I don't think they should have put the call out like this and put
other communities in.
We're sitting there doing what we're supposed to do. I don't really want to take a side in this political fight.
Sure.
And I quite frankly handle your own problems, North Dakota. You want to create problems, and
What can you get out of the compact then? If that's if that's the attitude towards the.
It's just
agreement?
If they're going to put a call out on the compact, I think it should be a legitimate riot type of situation. But I don't know, Kevin. But it was a bad situation.
But at the end of the day,
long and the short of it, to the caller that called, Hammond PD is back home. We're not part of the situation anymore. They've been back home for over a week now. Okay, they were out there probably for about 10 days. So
do they get debriefed when they come back? Does the chief meet with them and find out exactly what their role was and all that?
I'm not sure, but it's not really my role. One of the things I pride myself on is I don't micromanage. I take responsibility when things go wrong now, and this one sort of blew up. And I'm not going to say I sent them out there because I didn't, but I took some heat for it.
Did the chief indicate to you whether or not this was the first time that we've ever been called out on the compact? I think
it was the first time.
Because I don't remember ever hearing it. I know. At least during your term.
Right. It makes sense why we do things like this,
sure.
Especially nowadays with everything going on with the riots and with the protests. And so.
Yeah, it'd be good. Not that it would be good, but if Hammond ever needed it, it's nice to know that we have that ability to call out people.
Yep. 845-1100, we have open lines.
I think everyone's sleeping in.
It's a holiday.
We should test Phil Talon, see if he...
These are always tough shows on the holidays.
Mayor, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, nationally, or maybe let's start statewide. I know that obviously, myself included, we were all hoping that John Gregg and Christina Hale were going to win. We were hoping that Evan Bayh was going to become our senator again. Didn't happen. Do you have a kind of just a way to talk about how it went down, why it didn't happen? And
Evan Bayh I knew that was going to happen. I think almost everybody. It was weird. I didn't know, but I knew he was in trouble. It was weird.
It felt like the last 2 weeks.
It was weird to me because Evan Bayh was clinging on to John Gregg because he thought John Gregg could help Evan Bayh, which is a weird situation because when Evan Bayh came waltzing back,
he was always the top dog.
I'm Evan. Right. I'm here. And I am here to kick butt, right?
Mm-hmm. And he always did.
And you see him literally clinging to John Gregg hoping that John Gregg could pull him over the top. And I was under the impression, we do predictions, all of us do. And my prediction said, I thought Mara would win, and I was hoping Shelley would win. Okay. I didn't think we were going to win any other seats. I thought that John Gregg would win. I didn't think Lorenzo Arredondo was going to win. Okay. But I thought Glenda was going to win.
Yeah, I think we all did.
And I thought Evan Bayh was going to lose a close one.
Glenda was, even though as much as John and Greg hurt, or John and Christina hurt, and it was kind of surprising, Glenda was really surprising because she had such good support last time around.
I agree with you.
With all the teachers.
I think that would be more shocking that Glenda lost than a John Gregg lost.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Because John Gregg's race was tightening.
And plus the governor's race, everybody focuses on it. The superintendent, it is shocking. But I want to say something. None of them lost. It was Hillary Clinton that killed everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. And if Hillary's listening, by the way, I'm on cover of CNN with Hillary Clinton.
I saw
today.
that.
You sent it to me. I have my buddies from law school.
My neighbor sent that to me.
CNN.com. When you pull it up, it says how Hillary Clinton lost the white working class, and I'm sitting there with her, and I have a beer in my hand. So I am the
white working class.
I am the epitome of the white working class. But Hillary killed us. And what's funny, Kevin? I remember I told you this before the primary. Okay, when the Bernie and Hillary thing was happening,
yep.
I said it was because I remember I called up, and I'm going to say this story now, and I don't think I said this on the air. I was close to Hillary. I was, 8 years ago, we were Hillary's team, Kev.
Yep.
And I went to a Hillary Clinton organization meeting, probably at the end of 2015. Okay. And it was big wigs. Everybody's down in Indy. And I get in there and I sit through this boring lecture I should have never been part of because it wasn't intended for mayors. Okay. So I went up after and I talked to the Hillary Clinton person. I was like, hey, I want to get Hillary back at Hammond. And they said, for what reason? I was like, for a rally like I did 8 years ago. And they said, well, unless you're going to guarantee us you could raise $270,000 at that event, you're not going to get her. And I'm looking at him like, are you kidding me? $270,000. Let's take a step back here. That means we tap out 100 people at the maximum contribution.
Max, right, 27.
And it's that was never the purpose. And I remember saying to you and a few other people, I used to be important to Hillary Clinton. 8 years ago, Hillary Clinton cared about me because I can get her to the voters. Now it's all about the money. I remember saying that. I remember saying it. And guess what happened? Now I'm on the cover of CNN with her, and she says, I lost the white working class. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. I think one of the things I thought that were really interesting that I look back and think to myself, that should have been an indicator, was the fact that Bernie was so close.
Bernie would have won the presidency.
And the excitement that the Bernie supporters brought to the party, and it was kind of like...
We kicked them in the teeth.
Yeah, and I think that showed that Hillary there was a weakness there, and you look back on that and you're like,
there was a weakness
because there was all this excitement around Bernie, and for Hillary it's just kind of like, we got to get her in.
Yeah.
It wasn't... We got
to slam it in.
Yeah, right. And so I think that should have been an indicator to the party that she was in trouble even then.
All right, we got Karen on line 1.
Karen, good morning.
Hey, Karen.
Hi, good morning, Mary.
We got open lines, 845-1100.
Oh, they're lighting up now. Good.
Yep.
Keep calling them.
What's up, Karen?
Hi, I wanted to remind everybody about the Downtown Hammond Council's 9th annual holiday kickoff celebration, a tribute to Gene Shepard, taking place in downtown Hammond on Saturday, November 19th. So not tomorrow, but the next weekend. This is our 9th year. We're going to have 2 shuttle buses taking visitors to 9 different locations for everything from Santa to horse and carriage rides, kids' arts activities and games, costume contests, all kinds of fun things. So it's really important to remember our history and make a new beginning. So we've been doing this for 9 years. So make Downtown Hammond your new holiday tradition. It's a lot of fun. Visit downtownhammond.org and like us on Facebook.
Okay.
Great. What's the date on that again, Sharon? Or Karen, what's the date on that?
It's Saturday, November 19th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Great.
All taking place in downtown Hammond.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks for the call.
Thanks.
All right, we got DFH on line 2. Hey, DFH, 845-1100. We got open lines.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, what's up, sir?
Well, crazy election cycle. I think we all can agree on that.
Speaking of crazy, I got Mad Mac with his crazy
Mad Mac
bike.
has a hockey... Okay, so he's on a bike. I don't know. Does he have a license? He's on a bike.
I think that's illegal in Hammond.
And he has a hockey
With
stick.
the flag?
Hockey stick with the Trump flag.
Yeah, I
experienced that's what we got going.
He's begging for attention.
Begging for attention, so he just gave it to him.
Yeah, he did that to Jed the other day, so he's He's part of the gainfully unemployed, I think. He's utilizing his free time.
The gainfully unemployed.
I experienced Mad Mac Wednesday morning at 1:51 a.m. Wake up, Trump is president. That's the text I got from him at 1:51 a.m.
He wasn't waking up for work. But, maybe he's one of the people that Trump promised is going to have all these jobs for.
Well, yeah, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, what's up?
And my question is, obviously this has come up. I'm talking to a lot of friends, left and right.
Uh-huh.
I want to get you guys' opinion on this. The Electoral College. I'm sure you guys have heard it, and of course, when you're on the losing side, you don't like the Electoral College. When you're on the winning side, you love the Electoral College.
I like it.
Is it outdated? Is it outdated? Does it represent the people well in the smaller states versus the bigger states? Do you think the Electoral College is still the best way to go for total representation of a state?
All right, good question. Actually, funny enough, Charlie, my 6th grade son, brought it up yesterday to me. He said, "Why do we even have that anymore?" I said, "Well, it's in the Constitution. Number one. Why don't we do an amendment?
It is in the Constitution.
Why don't we do an amendment?"
But I believe that it serves its purpose, and I like the Electoral College.
I do too. You know why I like it?
It was a close race. I mean, through the Electoral College, it was close all night. And
I'll tell you why I like it. I like it because it makes smaller states more competitive and part of the process. Like, look at New Hampshire. Look at all the attention New Hampshire got,
right?
Or Nevada, or the states that don't have a lot of votes.
If we didn't have the Electoral College, it'd be California, New York, Texas, Pennsylvania,
and they'd just be trying to grind out the millions of votes.
And they would be flying over places like North and South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma. They would never see
Indiana.
Indiana probably would never see a presidential candidate either. Not that we do anyway, but I don't know. We lost. Al Gore lost the same way, which sucks. But it is
winners of the popular vote once again.
It's in the Constitution.
It's in the Constitution, and that's it. So we deal with it. To me, it's an interesting process. Still.
All right, line 3. We got MX.
Hey,
MX.
Good morning. I'm going riding today, so about another hour I'll be doing about 60 mile an hour around Burns.
Yeah, maybe as long as you're going downwind.
Take Mad Mac with you.
Right?
Yeah.
No way. Other than back on MX cartoons, that probably won't last but a couple of days. You want to talk two things.
Sure.
They said unions got more than 50% voted for Trump, but I
believe that. I believe that.
I agree. I totally. The union leadership was all with Hillary, and they gave her a bunch of money, and then their members turn around.
And I think it's a call out to the union leadership.
It's the truth, Kevin. It happened in 2010. Also, the union leaders are all in with Hillary or
but
whoever,
they're not bringing their members along.
And then everybody in their union's actually voting for the other person.
I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Trade agreements, a lot of other things.
I agree.
Here's my point. They said all unions. I bet you 90% of the private sector union voted for Trump. But I want to have a little fun now, Mayor.
Okay.
Because Scott Rakos, and I like the guy, he's in a public sector union. MX, who hung iron every morning, had to climb the 90-foot ladders in a private sector union. For the 219 event, I want to arm wrestle Scott Rakos for a sideshow. How about that?
I like that.
Arm wrestling contest is not a bad idea for 219.
You know what? An arm wrestling contest could be a lot of fun.
Okay, MX, I love it.
We're going to start that next 219 meeting. We're going to do an arm wrestling.
We're all friends. Take care.
Thanks, MX. That's a good one.
That's Region
Donna Muta, add that to our agenda.
Arm wrestling contest. That's what I'm talking about.
You versus Double M.
No, I'm not going to be in it. I'm not like Region Tough like that. So.
All right, we've got Phil on line 1. Phil, good morning.
Hey, Phil.
How you doing? I was resentful when Trump was talking about a fixed election and that. In Lake County, we have the best people working on the polls, best people in Lake County training people. I just was resentful of it. On Election Day, when they opened the doors, I had people out the door, and we treated everybody with respect. And there were a few people a little harsh, but after they started being treated so well, they calmed down. And polling day was just like every other polling day, except that we have a lot more people at a presidential. If I could just add something, people in the streets panicking about Trump. The fact is that when Reagan got in, there was a lot of nervousness about that. But I trust America.
Yep.
I believe we'll always stand up and will always come through.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Thanks for the call. Mayor, if I can, a couple things. One, I was once again reassured of how well the precinct system works in our county. When you have neighborhood polls, I was able to visit several of them around the county that day, and it's just so fun to go in, and they all have that neighborhood feel. I hope we never go away from the precinct system. We may have to get rid of a couple of the small ones or several of the small ones, but so many of the precincts have their own character, and I hope we keep with that too. I agree with Phil. That whole, I think Donald Trump did so much of a disservice to our country when he talked about the rigged election, because there wasn't one complaint about it when he won. And it just goes to show you that all those thoughts and fears that he tried, that fear-mongering that he did about rigged elections, I just think that does a lot of harm to our system. It does a lot of harm to our country. And I hope that gets tempered by him and those that tried to spread that, because I can guarantee, I think that the elections are run very smoothly and very well by our officials.
I've never seen, and I've been involved in quite a few elections, I've never seen anything that was even close to illegal on election day. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I just thought to myself,
not one single thing. Like, what the typical stuff is like, oh, that sign's too close to the polling place. That's the kind of stuff you see. And people arguing about it. Maybe calling in like an inspector.
Right. You're in the chute.
Right? You're in a chute, or you're not supposed to be. I've never seen anything.
But that rhetoric is just so bad. I mean, and I thought, Hillary's speech and the president's comments were all good. They were all about peaceful transition of power, the fact that you have to accept that this is the result. And I just wonder if the shoe was in the other foot if he would have done that. I mean, that's the type of rhetoric, and that's the kind of stuff about Donald Trump that makes me nervous and makes me concerned. And I hope he gets his act together. I really do, for the country and for all of us. And if some of the stuff he does, which I happen to agree with some of his ideas, I think hopefully will be for the better.
Let's go to line 3. We got Bob waiting.
Bob, you're on.
Hey, a couple of quick things. This is not why I called, but rigging an election doesn't necessarily mean stuff in the ballot box. I don't think anybody can truthfully deny that the media gave him less than a fair shake.
Well, Fox gives Hillary less than a fair shake. I mean, it's the media. They're all over the place. Listen to the conservative stuff. The conservative stuff, like Rush Limbaugh.
Excuse me, but when you have emails from Donna Brazile about how she's leaking questions to the campaign, when reporters are submitting articles to John Podesta for him to approve, when people are emailing and apologizing for writing a critical article about...
Anyway, Bob, everybody, obviously, if there is this bias in the media, which there's bias, like Kevin said, there's bias in Fox, there's bias in CNN, CNBC, okay, but the bottom line is, it didn't work.
And the American people obviously could see through it. Right. The American people saw through it, so what's the complaint, Bob?
I'm not even saying that it's the backhandedness is what people don't like.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of backhandedness by Donald Trump that people don't like either.
Excuse me. If you're going to watch MSNBC, there's a slant.
And if you're going to listen to Rush Limbaugh, there's a slant.
He's not a reporter. So
what is he?
Stop right there.
All right. How about Fox News? Right. Name the reporters on Fox News.
Okay, but
the National Review.
It's out in the open.
Sure, it is.
It's not behind the scenes where these emails showed what was going on behind the scenes. People will put up with. I'm a conservative. When I watch MSNBC, which I watch probably 90% of the time, I know what I'm watching.
That's right.
People like to know that there isn't something going on behind the scenes, and that's what.
And there's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes, like Donald Trump's taxes and.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want to talk about this seriously. Like, I don't care about Donald Trump. I hope he does a good job for our country's sake. I really don't care. I don't want to analyze anymore. Like, it's like a painful period of my life right now. Seriously, like we're like picking at a scab. We got Gilda on line 4.
Gilda, you're on with the mayor.
Hey, Gilda.
Hey, Mayor. This is Gilda Orange.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
Nice.
Councilwoman.
Thank you for serving you and all the other veterans. It
was nice to see you the other day, by the way.
And I'd like to have I have a comment, of course, and congratulations to your wife. I'm glad she's
Thank you, Councilwoman.
But one is that Hillary didn't have ground game like she did before, and you're right. When she reached out to you and the other communities, and she had a ground game. I don't know what this game was that she had, and you could see it. I think she should have picked Bernie Sanders as her running mate.
Yeah.
He had the momentum going in. I think that
I thought Tim Kaine was weak the whole time.
Yep, Tim Kaine was weak.
Yeah, I think that was a miss for her.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really want to say to you is that I was very disappointed when you stepped down as county chairman. I took what you said as, spending more time and stuff with your family.
Right.
But I was very disappointed because from then on, the Democratic Party had a slide, and we have not been back on track. You talk about the country, but this community is very divided.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we don't have a good Democratic Party anymore. I mean, it's picking and choosing, and they, not going with the incumbents like, you did in the past and everything like that. It just was crazy. So I want to know from you, do you regret that move? And what in the future, whatever happens to the sheriff, this party's got to come together. We got to get a chairman that is going to bring us all together, and so that we can get Democratic wins.
I agree. And do I regret it?
Thank you.
I thank you very much, Councilwoman. That was super nice. Yes, I regret it, especially right now. Okay, not that I missed the day-to-day grind, because it was a hard job and it's a thankless job, and quite frankly, nobody appreciated me when I was there. It's funny now, but now do I regret it? Yes. Our Lake County Chairman is under investigation by the FBI. Our county sheriff is under investigation by the FBI. Do I regret the fact that he's the head of the party? Absolutely regret it. I mean, I was in Indianapolis yesterday talking to people, and they were just looking at me like, are you kidding me? Like, this was such a bad week, and then you're going to come in here and you're going to tell me that your county chairman, one of the most powerful county chairmen in the state of Indiana, is under investigation, and I stepped down and I gave it to the guy. Do I regret that? Councilwoman, I absolutely regret it. I feel like I made a mistake, and I feel like I hurt the party, because little did I know the sheriff, would be under investigation by the FBI. If I would have known that when I was stepping down, I wouldn't have stepped down. Yeah, I mean, I look back and maybe I'm part of the problem right now. Maybe. Well,
I mean, it's interesting, Mayor, right? I mean, like you said earlier, a lot of this is going to take place over time, and we're going to wait and see.
We got Mad Mac on line too.
Real quick, Double M, you're ending our
hey,
show.
Double M.
Boy, aren't you guys lucky, huh?
Yeah, we got to see you this morning.
Yeah, you mean about being able to see you riding by?
Well, I had to give you guys the privilege too of taking a peek at the victory flag, which according to your prior co-host is not a victory flag, but it is a victory flag for our country, which is a great thing. I will say I could talk to you guys for probably about an hour, but I am a little shocked, not with what Hillary from Highland, or what's his name? Dave from Highland said. I don't know why I think Hillary from Highland with that guy, but I can't believe that you guys, after what has been revealed in the last 5 weeks, the DNC had to fire 5 head people out of super PACs who were committing illegal acts of voter fraud. And then you guys are sitting there saying you're not aware of voter fraud?
I know way more about elections than you do.
Absolutely,
man. Way more. Okay, I've never seen anything.
When I see a videotape and the guys are saying, "Yeah,"
this reminds me.
Well, you know what? That's IRS stuff. That's not voter fraud.
Exactly.
That's IRS stuff.
Much different.
Yeah.
The stuff that came out of Iowa with the super PAC was voter fraud. They said
that's Iowa. I'm telling you, where I've only seen
have them vote.
I've only seen elections in the region. I've only seen elections in Indiana. And quite frankly, I think they're like some of the most idealistic situations I've seen. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you there's people that don't register more people than they're supposed to. And then back in the day, there's people that voted more times than they used to. I've never seen it ever. I've never seen corruption. I'll be honest.
Karen passing out Christmas cards in May with $5 in them, saying, "Hey, see you in November."
Listen, man, Mac, you got to remember that's not voter fraud. Okay, you don't even have a clue on how to define it. You don't. It's like when you called up 2 weeks ago and wanted to talk about quarter mile around the railroad was going to all be destroyed. Mm-hmm. You don't have a clue.
Oh, that was put out, and I came back and then said, okay, they did clarify it, saying, okay, well, we may be looking a quarter to a half, but that was not in their plans, and that is true. The point not being is that when you guys don't see what just happened in the country, in the county, and in the state,
I see what happened,
you guys don't hear it. The Democratic Party on a nationwide basis, state level and local level, was disseminated.
But why? Why was that? What is your opinion on why that happened? Because I bet you we're going to agree on that.
Because the Democratic Party is 1 billion% tone deaf to what the people of the United States expect out of their government.
The Democratic Party pushed Hillary Clinton down our throats. That's why we got our butts kicked. The Democratic Party, and I'm not going to deny that the chairwoman, Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, pushed Hillary Clinton down our throats in the primary. That is why Donald Trump is the president.
That's true.
Because it had nothing to do with anything else. It was a bad candidate that killed everybody on the ballot. Christina Hill and John Gregg have nothing.
Even with that candidate, you still had the ability not to have her.
Hey, guess what happens? Mad Mac, if Joe Biden was our nominee, if Bernie Sanders was our nominee, Donald Trump would be packing his bags right now. He would not be the president.
I gotta tell you, if you guys could have run Jesus Christ against Trump and you had no chance of winning.
You're wrong there. Yep. You're dead wrong there, in my opinion. So, anyway.
All right, Hobart versus Lowell tonight. Who are you guys taking?
Oh, I'll take... Who?
Is it at Lowell?
At Hobart in the old refined Bricky Bowl.
I'm taking Lowell.
I'm taking Lowell, too.
The spread is Lowell -7.
Thanks, Double M.
High school football spread. Thanks for calling in, man.
Mayor, have a happy Veterans Day.
You're a little testy today, Kevin Smith.
I've had a long week.
You got caffeine issues or something?
I need my wife to get back.
Yeah, you are a little edgy right now. So
I apologize for a veteran. Have a great Veterans Day, Mayor.
Thanks for calling, everybody. Happy Veterans Day. Thanks. We got Haven House coming up next. So thanks, everybody.